Hi and good evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I am Buddham. Now the latest headlines from world channels and news agencies.
And more. A very musical Christmas. Stream now on ABC iView.
Tonight, Grampians residents told to leave after a bushfire in Victoria's west flares to emergency level. Homicide detectives search for suspects after a woman is found dead with gunshot wounds in Queensland's Caboolture. Germany pays tribute to the victims of the fatal Christmas market attack. And concerns industrial action could jeopardise New Year's Eve celebrations after major disruptions rock Sydney's rail network. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Meredith Sheehan. Residents in Victoria's Grampians region are facing an anxious Christmas as a fire burns through more than 34
Christmas market in Germany. New images of the aftermath. Tonight, the death toll rising in that horrific attack on a Christmas market in Germany. New images of the aftermath from a car plowing into the packed crowd. 5 people now dead, hundreds injured, many fighting for their lives. New video of the moment the suspect was arrested and the interview he gave just 1 week before. The government shutdown averted in an early morning vote, but new fallout today. Will Mike Johnson lose a speaker's gavel over it?
Do you still want to be speaker after this experience?
The snowstorm across the northeast. Trucks flipped over, power lines down. And as travelers head home for the holiday, long lines at airports.
15-hour travel day for an hour flight.
It's Super Saturday, one of the busiest shopping days of the year, just as 2 major retailers plan to shut down. Blake Lively's bombshell allegations against her co-star in the hit movie It Ends With Us. Her legal action claiming sexual harassment. A runaway garbage truck on fire. How the driver jumped back in to save a home. A baseball legend has died. We remember Hall of Famer Rickey Henderson. And our annual tradition. There was so much good news this year. The heroes who inspired us.
This is NBC Nightly News with Jose Diaz-Balart.
Right now on ABC News Live Weekend, the holidays are here. Travelers are on track to set records as they head out to their destinations. We've got ahead the best and worst times to leave home. You'll want to take note. Hollywood feud, actress Blake Lively filing a complaint against It Ends With Us co-star and director Justin Baldoni. What his attorney saying this morning. Plus, planting seeds of hope. Meet the nonprofit spreading love through flowers. Oh, I love that. Happy Sunday. I'm Janae Norman. Thanks for joining us on ABC News Live Weekend. We've got a lot of news to get to, of course, but we do begin with the Arctic cold blast that is hitting parts of the country in the east. Meanwhile, another wave of rain and gusty winds move onshore from Northern California to the Pacific Northwest. This here, a live look at a very, very foggy San Francisco. And all this wild weather coming, of course, ahead of a very busy holiday travel week for drivers and passengers. More than 100
Tonight, holiday horror. The death toll rising after a car plows into a Christmas market in Germany. The attack leaving at least 5 dead, more than 200 injured. Thousands, including the German chancellor, now honoring the victims. What we know at this hour about the suspect.
I'm Anna Norskevich in Magdeburg, where police charged a 50-year-old with murder, but are still looking for a motive.
Also tonight, power struggle. A bipartisan vote keeps the government running. But is it a sign of a deepening political divide? Holiday rush at airports, on the roads, and in the stores. Holiday spirit turning to holiday stress.
I'm Elise Preston in Commerce, California, where shoppers are in a crunch to get those last-minute gifts on time.
Plus, 'tis the season. A new storm blows into the west with a big chill in the east. Flu concerns. The flu an unwelcome guest at your holiday gatherings.
I'm Allie Bauman in New York with why the CDC is worried.
Remembering Rickey Henderson, baseball's career steals leader, dead at 65. And later, Christmas Elf, how this jolly elf is making things merry and bright for sick children.
I'm going to do an elf smile. Ready, set, go.
Nana, thank you. Your headlines at 4 o'clock. The 9-year-old boy killed in the German Christmas market attack on Friday evening has been named as Andre Gleisner. In a tribute on social media, his mother, Desiree Gleisner, wrote, "Let my little teddy bear fly around the world again. Andre didn't do anything to anyone." The attack left 5 people dead and over 200 injured after a driver used an emergency vehicle lane to plough into a Christmas market in Magdeburg. German authorities are coming under fire after warnings about the suspect were reportedly received last year but deemed unspecific. Chancellor Olaf Scholz and ministers faced angry hecklers during a visit to the site as questions mount over security and how the attack could happen. Social media giant X, owned by Elon Musk, is also being scrutinised for failing to act on the suspect's threatening posts before the attack. Security has been ramped up across Germany and the rest of Europe, with armed police patrolling festive events and Christmas markets. Now, Labour's Lucy Powell has admitted the economy is disappointing, likening the government's efforts to turning around a huge oil tanker. She says Labour inherited unprecedented challenges, including falling living standards and underfunded public services. It comes after the Office for National Statistics reported the economy shrank by 0.1% in September and October, with no growth expected this quarter. The Commons leader told GB News the government shares the public's frustration, but insisted progress is being made.
People voted for change at the election because the country was, let's face it, going to the Swanee. We had the economy tanking, with living standards having fallen for the first time in a generation, and public services absolutely on their knees, with huge waiting lists in our NHS and elsewhere. So it's a bit like turning a really big oil tanker around. We've begun to start moving it in the right direction, but there are many fundamental challenges facing the country.
However, Shadow Housing Secretary Kevin Hollinrake claims the situation is far worse under Labour than the previous Conservative government.
The economy is tanking, as we know. Business confidence has gone through the floor. Family businesses are having to make difficult decisions in terms of their investment because of things like business property relief changes, and same with family farms. So you're seeing this right across the economy why business confidence is dropping, and that's having a real-world impact on our economy.
In other news, Archbishop of York Stephen Cottrell says he's deeply sorry over his handling of a priest at the centre of a sexual abuse scandal. David Tudor was banned from ministry this year after admitting to serious abuse, but was twice reappointed to senior church roles while Mr Cottrell was Bishop of Chelmsford. The Archbishop admits things could have been handled differently, but insists legal constraints prevented earlier action. Bishop Helen Ann Hartley says it's impossible for him to remain in post, arguing survivors and safeguarding must come first. Mr Cottrell has pledged to push for independent safeguarding scrutiny in the Church of England. Now, US actress Blake Lively has been supported by It Ends With Us author Colleen Hoover after accusing her co-star of sexual harassment. She accused Justin Baldoni of making sexual comments about the cast and crew, showing her explicit videos and images of women and discussing his previous alleged porn addiction. However, Baldoni has now hit back.
Hello there. Let's check the headline news this hour. A nation in grief and a growing demand for answers as Germany grapples over whether more could have been done to prevent a Christmas market car ramming attack that killed 5 people and injured more than 200 others. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's government has pledged to investigate whether security services could have stopped the deadly incident, with the Interior Minister and the heads of the domestic and foreign intelligence services due to face questioning by 2 parliamentary committees. South Korea's main opposition party vows to hold acting President Han Duck-soo accountable if he fails to sign special council bills against the country's impeached leader Yoon Suk-yeol and the First Lady by Tuesday. The bill seeks to mandate special probes into Yoon's short-lived martial law decree and allegations of stock manipulation and...
I like it. It's mine. The prices blow my mind.
First ever metro line after years of delay. Passengers can enjoy free rides during the first 30 days of operation on the 20-kilometer railway line that offers 200 trips a day. The project was approved nearly 2 decades ago with a price tag of $700 million. The metro plan became infamously known in Vietnam for its long and multiple delays, as well as a legal dispute between a Japanese contractor and the city's investor. In the end, the investment cost tripled to almost $2 billion. You're up to date with the latest from the CNA newsroom. On this Saturday night, more than 200 charges against the man accused of the German Christmas market attack. As Germans mourn, we learn more about the suspect and the possible motive behind the deadly assault. Succession planning.
The country cannot afford a vacuum with a leader who doesn't have credibility.
If Trudeau steps down, who will lead the Liberal Party next?
There's an obstacle there, and it's Justin Trudeau.
Also tonight, winter arrives in full force in Atlantic Canada, the weather warnings, and the white Christmas that's near guaranteed. And a puck drop for Maddie.
She was a great kid, great friend, funny.
The Memorial Tournament in New Brunswick that's raising awareness for mental health.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Carolyn.
The situation caught France by surprise. It was preparing to start withdrawing its ground troops from Chad from next week. Then on Friday, France received a communiqué from the authorities demanding the total withdrawal of all personnel from its base in N'Djamena by the 31st of December. Yet another setback for France. It was planning to begin repatriating its soldiers from Tuesday, although sources suggest negotiations were underway for a gradual withdrawal ending in March. Now Paris has had to speed things up, sending the first 120 men to France on Friday afternoon. The situation in the country has evolved rapidly. In October, 40 Chadian soldiers were killed in an attack by Boko Haram insurgents on a military post in the Lake Chad region. After being forced to withdraw its troops from the Sahel region in West Africa, France's president says its military base in Djibouti could assume a greater role. Emmanuel Macron said it would be reinvented as a projection point for the country's missions in Africa. Currently, the base is more focused on the Red Sea, the Indian Ocean and the Indo-Pacific than it is on Africa. Macron described the move as a strategic decision which is part of France's restructuring of its approach on the African continent. He was speaking on Friday after sharing a Christmas dinner with the 1,500 French soldiers at its airbase in Djibouti, which recently renewed its defence cooperation treaty with Paris. That makes it home to France's largest military contingent abroad. French forces were successively pushed out of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, all three under military rule, between 2022 and 2023. Its troops have begun withdrawing from Chad in the latest blow to its dwindling influence across its former colonies in Africa. Senegal has also requested the departure of French troops. The winter solstice is a special day of the year at this ancient Egyptian temple complex at Luxor on the Nile River. and thousands of local and international tourists come to see it. On the shortest day in the Northern Hemisphere, the first rays of sunlight align perfectly with the main axis of the city's temple of Amun-Re. Today, the sun's rays fall directly over the Holy of Holies in the Karnak temples, a unique and historic event that confirms the greatness of Egypt and the Egyptians for thousands of years.
We are here at Karnak Temple. It is the winter solstice, and we just enjoyed watching the sun rise over the beautiful pavilions here. We're drinking in the beautiful sunlight. We're enjoying this amazing sacred site.
As the sun bathes the temple, it enters the Holy of Holies, which houses a statue of Amun, the god of air and fertility. The astronomical phenomenon coincides with the beginning of the germination season in ancient Egypt, when farmers began to work the fields.
And Swiss politics and finance.
John Zarakostas, one of the 200 France 24 correspondents around the world.
Welcome back to France 24. It is 6:30. We're live here in Paris on Worldview. Let's get the headlines tonight. A series of Israeli airstrikes in Gaza has killed at least 28 people, according to the Palestinian Civil Defense Agency, with 5 killed while sheltering at a school and a hospital reported to be amongst the sites hit. The Israeli military claiming that a school in Gaza City was being used by Hamas as a command centre. Targets also struck in Khan Yunis and Rafah. It's emerged that 2 US Navy pilots have had to evacuate after their jet was reported to have been accidentally shot down by American forces over the Red Sea. It happened while the US were targeting Yemeni's Houthi rebels. The apparent friendly fire incident, the most serious to threaten troops in over a year of America's targeting the Yemen-based group. Both pilots recovered alive. And it is touted as the biggest lottery of the year, the largest pot of cash, €2.7 billion shared out by the winners in Spain. The event is known as El Gordo, the fat one, which is a huge tradition in the country. Crowds turning out in Madrid's Opera House for the live draw, dressed as elves, wise men, women, Don Quixote, and the lottery itself. We'll be in Madrid with our correspondent Sarah Morris on all the excitement there in just a moment. Well, a series of Israeli airstrikes in Gaza has killed at least 28 people. We're getting more information coming through from the Palestinian Civil Defense Agents. The medical workers at the school in Gaza that was hit have described pulling children from the rubble at the Musa bin Nasser school. It's in Gaza.
It's 5 o'clock. I'm Jonathan Samuels. This is the News Hour. The top stories. Let my little teddy bear fly. The mother of the 9-year-old victim of the Christmas market attack pays tribute to her son. Germany starts an investigation into what happened in the attack after it's reported that Saudi Arabia repeatedly warned about the suspects. Also tonight, we speak to a family in the West Bank who say they are fighting back after their 80-year-old grandmother is shot dead by Israel's military. Actress Blake Lively accuses her co-star Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment, who releases a series of documents from his PR team. The big Christmas getaway is grounded. Flights cancelled at one of the UK's busiest airports due to high winds. Plus, a new carol for the world's most famous Christmas service. We speak to the composer.
Thank you for sparing your precious time. This is Amir Shakil. Have a good life. Bye-bye.